I don't know if anybody has said this before me, but the only time it feels bad being right is when you're right and you don't have a trade. But anyways, it is Friday, October 4th, and today was unexpectedly an amazing day for me. This is on a day where the NASDAQ is up 1.2%. I am up over 2%. Most of my stocks are doing great. Let me see today's return. Percentage. Yes, Robinhood up almost 2%. TLT surprisingly down 1%. And I'll speak on that one briefly because that one was actually one I got wrong in the short term. PayPal up over 2%, Palantir up almost 2%, Tesla almost 4%, SoFi over 6%. Honest was actually up huge earlier, but then it gave up all of its gains. It was up over 5%, and then it gave up all of its gains, and I actually bought 100 more shares today. So I bought these at around $3.54, so at the closing price after hours, and I scooped them up. But yeah, Pepsi basically flat today, American Express almost 3%, Nike flat, Burberry up 3%, but I mean that stock is down so much, 3% is nothing. EA 1.4%, VF Corp up over 9% today. Goodness gracious, like I should have bought a lot more shares. So what I meant earlier about kind of being wrong on TLT in the short term was I was expecting the market to go down, and the market did go down, but I was also expecting a risk off trade happening. So like TLT moving upwards, Pepsi moving upwards, and it could still happen, especially if it continues selling off and it gets to a point where it's so oversold that it just has to go back up. Well, it doesn't have to go back up, but you guys know what I mean. But looking back at the covered calls that I was eyeing on TLT back when it was 101 recently, I would have only made like maybe $100. So, I mean, $100 hedge when I think TLT could be 114, 115, sometime next year maybe. You know, it's not really worth the risk for me to take. But still, it does suck to see TLT constantly bounce between 95 and 100. TLT is basically my risky cash position, quote unquote. Obviously, you guys should not be copying me, but I'm kind of using TLT as like a cash position. There's also been some people joking that anybody in TLT right now is missing out on gains or whatever. And well, that just all depends on how you structure your portfolio. Like this past month, I'm up 12%. That's on a month where the NASDAQ is up 5%. So I'm still outperforming the NASDAQ, partially because I have some margin, partially because I'm so aggressive in Robinhood, PayPal, Palantir, and Tesla, and SoFi. So I'm not really missing out on upside, even though I have a lot of TLT. TLT is my number 2 position, but I'm still outperforming the market because of how aggressive my portfolio is. And I'm slowly starting to like not really fix it, but just diversify a little bit more into Pepsi. Short term, I think Pepsi could see a bounce on earnings, and I might actually play earnings. I'm not going to say how because I don't want anybody copying me, but I might do a live reaction on Pepsi if I have a big trade on it.